Kayla Gordon, and she is going to give us a webinar on street photography. So hopefully everyone is ready and has a photo. I apologize, Kayla, I do not have a photo because I'm away from the house at the moment, but I am so excited to hear what you have to say. Take it away.
So am I. All right. So hi, everybody. Welcome. It's exciting to see so many of you out here. This is great. First, I want to say that I don't feel I'm an expert in street photography, although I have done a few accreditations now in PPOC. I've done 4 because I needed something creative to do during COVID, especially since I retired from the theater company that I was running. And I first did performance, which I had lots of images and have always shot performance. Took me a few tries. And then I thought I would do street photography. And in PPOC, you need 10 images in order to pass the accreditations. They get put before the judges. And if you don't get all 10, you can go back a few times. Well, street photography, I think mainly because it's a fairly new category, or I was lucky, I got all 10. And I kind of went, okay, maybe that's my niche. And then I started thinking about it. I'll just briefly talk about this. I realized that my whole career was all about theater and that moment in theater, capturing the moment for an audience. And I realized why I liked street photography so much, because I could go out there by myself. I didn't have to worry about fundraising. I didn't have to worry about all the people, all the actors, all the designer, all of those. I could just go out and be creative and find that moment with my camera. So I guess it's been a love of mine for a long time, longer than I realized, but that kind of solidified it for me that was something that I really, really like to do. So again, I don't really call myself an expert, but what I have learned through my whole theater career is that it's not that hard to approach people. And I think that's the biggest thing that I have found with a lot of other photographers that do landscape or do other types of photography. They're just afraid to approach people. So primarily today, I'm going to be talking about that. And what I do. Again, I'm no expert. These are just ideas and ways that I do things and have worked for me. So, you can take what you can from it, and hopefully it will encourage you to go out there and not be too afraid to do it. So I am just going to share my screen. We can have questions along the way if you want, or we can save some time for questions at the end. For those of you that came in after I mentioned this, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a PowerPoint presentation first about the history of street photography, some of the background, and just the points that I use, the sort of tips and tricks that I use for my street photography. And then I'm going to show a little slideshow of some of my favorite shots that I've done. And then we have Jerry here from the Manitoba Camera Club, who is my editing god. He has taught me a lot about editing, and I just thought it might be a nice way at the end of the session or near the end of the session to see what he does to a photo to basically clean it up. And like I said, there are different sides of street photography. Some people will tell you the photo should be as is. I'm a little on both sides. I think if you can clean it up a little bit and draw your attention more to what you want it to be, then all the better. So let us begin with, I'm just going to close the door here. My husband is watching the Jets game, and it will get loud and they'll start screaming if they're winning. Okay, here we go. There we go. Can you see a full screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. So bear with me as I talk through this. So this is going to be on the tips and tricks of approaching people. One of the first street photographers was Louis Daguerre in Paris. His images below on the left is a man he had captured as he stood still long enough whilst having his boots shined in 1838. You can see, I don't know if you can see my pointer, but it's that little tiny image right there. This is one of the first famous photographs. The second image to exemplify street photography was produced by another French photographer, Charles Maigret, who used his camera to document architecture as well as shops, laborers, traveling musicians, peddlers, and unusual street types in the 1850s. Pioneers such as Eugène Etguet and Henri Cartier-Bresson in the 20s and 30s paved the way for modern street photography using handheld cameras to capture everyday life in the cities they lived in. In the 50s and 60s, street photography flourished thanks to the rise of faster, more accessible cameras and film. Today, because of a huge advancement of cameras on digital phones, anyone can be a street photographer. But what makes a good street photograph or street photographer? And hold on. A bit of inspiration. Alfred Eisenstadt was born in 1898. He was one of the luminaries of German-born American photographer. He is best known for his candid black and white shots of celebrities, politicians, and captivating street shots. I'm sure most of you have seen this photo on the right. He was among those Europeans who pioneered the use of 35mm camera in photojournalism to get closer to his subjects and create more candid pictures. Eisenstadt was the master at finding the details that tell the big story. His style was unaffected and naturalistic. He let his subjects speak for themselves. Eisenstadt perfected certain techniques for capturing the spontaneous moment that has given us. So you can see how all the people there are focused on that. I mean, who wouldn't focus in on that? And he got it. Helen Levitt in the 30s. She captured the lyrical spirit of New York that some say no longer exists. I will disagree with that. Attracted to the poorer areas of the city, particularly the Lower East Side and Spanish Harlem, Levitt saw the street of these neighborhoods as the living room of New York, where children played, neighbors chatted, and where people from all walks of life came together for brief but special moments. Bruce Davidson. I'm sure you all recognize this photo on the right. Born in 1933, he remains one of the world's greatest photographers, a member of the Magnum Photos Agency. He is known for capturing images of communities and individuals living on the fringes of society and dedication to the documentation of social inequality. His images frequently convey the loneliness and isolation of the subjects portrayed. His photographs show a keen desire to reveal and understand the complexities of individual lives and reflect universal truths and concerns. Most of his protagonistic shows the proximity between the photographer and his subjects, both spatially and emotionally. Gary Winograd incessantly captured daily life in New York City and America for the 50s and up to the early 80s. His body of work defined the post-World War era America, filled with opulence and power, but mixed with a deep underlying anxiety. He was born and studied photography at the New School under Alexei Brodovich in 1949, who taught him to rely on his instinct rather than classical techniques. And it is clear that this advice stuck and helped him define his style. His work was documentary, but spontaneous in nature and focused on the human condition. Joel Meyerowitz was a street photographer who has already published over 30 books, and he's planning more. His work has appeared in more than 350 exhibitions around the world, and he has won many awards. His photographs show the desire to reveal and understand the complexities of individual lives and reflect universal truths and concerns. Most of his protagonists shows the proximity, I just said that, between the photographer and his subjects, both spatially and emotionally. Did I have him twice? No. Similar, very similar. Okay, Brandon Stanton. Born in 1984, he's an American author, photographer, and a blogger. He's the author of Humans of New York, a photo blog and book. He is named to Time Magazine's 30 Under 30 People Changing the World list. He takes pictures, what happened? Primarily takes pictures of people in New York accompanied by bits of conversations about their lives. He has also traveled outside of the United States, capturing people in their lives in more than 20 countries, including Iran, Iraq, Uganda, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ukraine, Vietnam, and Mexico. This is, just a minute, I have to move this thing here. Oops, keep getting stuck on the thing. How do you remove the top? My screen is I was looking around at different members and I admired her work. So I thought I should include one person from the PPOC organization, and Canadian. Her photography is mainly seascapes, landscapes, street, and drone photography. She's a member of PPOC of Canada and has been accredited by PPOC in travel illustration, marine, and street photography categories. Her street photography features human activity in candid situations in public places, somewhere that observes and captures social interaction. Her goal is to capture a moment of interest or story, helping the viewer understand human society. And this photo of hers really caught my eye. Okay, I'm just going to close this door again. My dog keeps coming in and out. All right, tips to approaching people. So I'll just talk for a moment. This is a photo that I took in Cuba. So the woman in the photo absolutely didn't want her photo taken. She said, no, no, and she's like giving her hands like this, no, no, go away, go away. And so I just was about to leave. And then I said, are you sure? And we just started chatting and just having a light conversation. And before I knew it, she was again, like just putty in my hands. Then she started smiling and I got those other images of her. So not a true candid photo, but just her expression was lovely. So tips when you approach. These are just some of the things that I do. I often will admire what they are doing or selling. For example, an easy thing was here. This was in Machu Picchu. You can just go up to them. They're obviously interested in selling you something, so it's not too hard to get photos of them. You could admire for a moment when you may not really want to buy anything, but soon you can take their picture, and then as a thank you, you could absolutely buy something. I say be yourself, be genuine, and be friendly. Tell them that you are new to the area or country and you need some help. Once you are chatting with them, ask if you can take their picture once you've gotten to know them a bit. The other picture on the bottom there was just a family that was sitting on the side. And I just loved it with the chicken and the 3 kids. And it was fairly candid. I took a few pictures and then I just told them to basically to talk to each other and carry on. And then I snapped the picture. Be friendly, build a rapport with the people you wish to photograph. It's all about the energy you give off. Approach gently and ask them how their day is going. That's just a good way to start. Be warm, genuine, and kind. This picture was taken at the Winnipeg Fringe Festival. And would you approach somebody like that? He was in the middle of the park. And I thought, what the heck? And actually, he was very nice. That was the first look he gave me. But then after talking to him for a while, he just let me take pictures and he sort of lightened up. But just interesting face. It's a balancing act. This is often what I do. If you need to, tell them you are not selling the photos or not publishing their photos in any newspaper. That's often what people will ask you. They say, no, if you're doing this for money, I don't want my picture taken. And I reassure them that I'm not. And if they are at a distance, gesture to your camera, especially if they don't speak English, smile while miming that you'd like to take their photo. If they yell at you, like this guy did, or point their stick, say you're sorry and leave quickly. But I still got a snap of that guy in Africa. Be careful. Never approach from behind or sneak up. That's the last thing you want to do. Show interest in them and their life. If they say no or hesitate, tell them that you love meeting people and it's your passion. If that doesn't work, you can also offer them a few bucks. So we were talking about this at the beginning of, as people were coming in, I often have some US dollars if I'm in a different country in my pocket. And I'll offer to them afterwards. I don't like to say, oh, here's money first, if they'll let me take their picture, but you can do it the other way around. And often if I give them like a few bucks, I can ask them, can you stand over there where the light is better, or you could get them to actually move into a better spot. What to say. So these are some phrases that I've used that work for me. The photo on the right there was taken in Namibia in one of the Himba tribe camps. So, mind if I take your picture? Excuse me, is there any way I can take your photo? I love your smile. I'm doing a project with my camera club. Can I take your photo? That one works for me all the time. because they know it's for a club. It's not professional. It's not, you're not doing it as a, sell in the newspaper. I love your hat. I'm always asking for photos of people in hats. Mind if I take your photo? Or I am taking photos of people in hats. Mind if I take your photo? And then here are some recent photos that I took in New York. This one, actually, the second one was in the Dominican. And I always ask on all these photos. Actually, I didn't ask in the bus, in the subway. That one I didn't ask. That one I just had my camera with me, and I was just kind of pointing it around and then snapped it. Photographing strangers without them knowing. This is another way to do street photography. So again, this is what I have done. I use a wide angle lens so I can get them within a larger space, and then I crop later in post. Focus your camera on a point between 5 and 10 meters ahead of you so they don't think you are taking their photos. And I'm going to talk about the legality of this after. I did this for a while. I had a Fuji camera shooting from the hip. On most cameras, you can use the LCD screen to take the shot. I found that a lot of them were blurry. So, and I didn't love that particular camera, but I know a lot of street photographers that do that. Point the camera just away from them, and when they look away from you, then turn the camera on them and shoot fast. Sneaky. Be in the moment. You might want to ask them to continue what they were doing before you came by so the shot doesn't look staged. For example, if they were texting someone, ask them to simply continue doing that. This is something that I didn't do in the beginning and I've started doing much more of. Be aware of your background, and if you have time, get your background organized first. Make sure there is not a lot of distraction. If there is, move to a different angle. Very important, be confident in your street photography, which will give you more courage to approach a stranger. Try practicing with a friend. When you feel ready, begin approaching strangers. It's not as hard as you think. This is a big thing that I do for a couple reasons. Offer to email or text them a copy of their photo. That helps to make the connection, and they love getting a copy of their photo. It also helps you if you ever want to use it, if you want to publish it or use it on social media and you want to ask their permission, get their blessing on it. Then you have their email. I often do this. I'll take a few full body shots first before going in too close, make them feel comfortable, and then move into their space. So don't get crowded right in there. Oh, I'm doing a photo right now, and get right in their face. I said before, use a long lens or a telephoto lens and keep moving. And they don't know you're taking their picture. Any questions so far? Or if not, I'm going to carry into my editing workflow. We can save the questions for later. All right.
What kind of a camera do you use?
Oh, I use a Nikon. My favorite is my Z. I'm now mirrorless. My favorite on the street is my Z6. I also have a Z7 II, but I'll use that with my 2.8 lens on it. And I've tried lighter ones, but again, I'm still looking for the sharpness. So that's the one I've been happiest with, especially at night, because it's really good in lower light. Good question, though. Don't be afraid to use photo editing to enhance or fix your images if they didn't quite capture what you intended for a given scene. In street photography, you can get away with a bit more than in other genres of photography, like especially portraiture. I try to make sure the eye is going right to where the story is. It's okay that the subjects are not tack sharp, but my goal is always to try to get them sharp and clean. I also try to clean up any distracting elements in the background. Anything that pulls the focus and doesn't add anything can be removed. So that remove tool in Photoshop is a game changer for for any kind of photo editing now. You can get rid of people so easily, or things. I think it's a game changer. So to sum up the following process, I use more or less the same sliders for every image that I process. That means that the workflow is very much the same. filter if I want to convert it to black and white. Sometimes when I'm in the street, I'll actually shoot in black and white. I really enjoy that. And then convert it to color after if I want to bring back the color. Then I will transfer it to Photoshop and I use the remove tool. There we go. And the clone stamp to do some selective editing to remove distracting elements. I also love the camera raw tool in Photoshop to do selective editing, like and the new TK9 is an excellent plugin, which I recently started using. And that's one of the reasons I wanted Jerry to come in here to show you what he does with this TK9 tool. It's pretty incredible. I'm still a novice at it, but I'm finding it's really, really helpful, especially if you're not a big Photoshop guru. Okay, here we go with, a lot of people have asked me about this. Is it legal? So I'm just quoting what I found online. Canada's Charter of Rights and Freedom lists expression as a fundamental freedom. Photographers are within their right to take photographs in public places and publish them, including photographs of people, even without asking them first. If you want to use a particular photo for competition or to post on social media, I will ask if I can have the person's email by offering to send them a digital copy. Although you don't need permission, it's common courtesy if you want to post a photo. If you are considering selling an image, I think in that case, it's best to get a release, then you're covered. But technically, nobody can sue you if you put a photo up somewhere on your webpage. But I'm all for asking them if you can. I do find that there are some places that it is not legal to do it. I'm not going to get into that, but in Canada, we're free to do it.
Is that the same for children too?
Yep. Yep. As long as they're on the street in a public place. But again, if you're taking pictures of children, today especially, I would ask. Then you're covered. And I have asked some parents if I can take pictures of kids, and a couple have said no. Like at places like children's festivals and things like that, I do ask. And I find it's just, people appreciate it when you ask. Good question.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you now some of my pictures before and after. And this one, I asked these women if I could take their photo. They were actually there doing a selfie. This was on the wall in China. And they said, no problem. And they kept it the way they were doing it. They didn't look at me, and that's what I wanted. And then I actually liked it in black and white, cleaned it up. They actually changed the sky in this one. And, just sharpened it up and brought the light in some places to bring their focus to the iPhone and to their faces. And this was one of the photos that I used in my street accreditation. I just loved their faces, just lovely. Here's an image in New York. And this is when I started really getting into editing, and I had Jerry help me a little bit with this one. So I loved the contradiction between the tourist and this woman. It's not even a real guitar, but she was busking. This is like, on Broadway in New York. And there was just too much distracting things happening behind it. So we did change the background quite a bit in this one, but kept the intention of the photo and the story in the photo. And I mean, I could ask you guys to tell me what you get from it, but I don't want to take too much time for that. But I just personally loved the contradiction between the two of them. Just him standing there. Sorry, go ahead. Oh, no, somebody was speaking. This photo was taken in New Orleans. This woman allowed me to take a whole bunch of her photos with her and her little band. She was actually interviewed on the morning news show. What is it called? The Sunday morning show. They did a whole story on her. And I was like, I have photos of her. I was so excited. Again, cleaned it up a little bit, brought the attention to her money jar there, the gorgeous light that was on her face, and cleaned up some of the distracting images in the back on the right. This girl, this was also in New Orleans. This girl was just out on the street doing yoga. This one I did a little bit more work on. I flipped it, you can see that, just to get the line. I like the leading line better this way. Cleaned up the boathouse in the background a bit. Dodged and burned it a bit. This is one of my favorites. This was a woman in Cuba. Again, it was sort of a contrast between the fancy legislative buildings in the background and this woman, street person, and her face, all the wrinkles on her face, those beautiful eyes. And I did ask her if I could take her photo. She had no problem. It was all crooked though, so I had to work a little bit to straighten it up. And I liked it in black and white. And that is the end. So now I am going to show you a little video of my work, and then we'll have time for Jerry's editing and some questions after, and hopefully some images that you brought to look at. Any questions before I move into the video? I'll save them for later. I do want to hear from you guys afterwards, and I'll pose some questions. Okay, I'm going to pull up the video. Give me a sec. Where'd it go? I have to just find it. I had it ready and it disappeared, of course. Okay.
Kayla, is that painted on your wall behind you?
No, that's a photo.
That's a photo? Okay.
That was taken, I was doing a mural pie. It was just one of those really cool moments. You walked by the mural.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it was one of those just incredible moments. I don't know how many times I've been out on the street where I've gone, oh my God, I should have gotten that photo and I didn't. But I've stopped worrying about the ones that I didn't get.
I'm not in the
I'm gonna
park, buffalo behind me.
Oh, say that again?
I said I'm not outside with buffalo behind me.
Oh yeah, not quite street photography. I don't know if animals are part of street photography, but no, I like that.
There are animals on the street.
Yeah, there are. That's true. Animals could be street photography, absolutely.
And you're saying street photography has to have people?
People, animals, no, it could have anything.
Okay.
It could have any kind of subject.
I've got Christmas in Glasgow, so that'll do.
Okay. All right. Can you see street photography by Kayla there? I'm gonna
Yep.
turn it on and then go full screen and hope that it's working. Oh, no, view.
Because it was like the battle in the car.
You want to go up to her, get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still my laptop.
I hope you could hear the sound. I forgot to ask.
No, we couldn't hear it.
No,
Oh, really? Oh,
I don't think it mattered. The pictures were phenomenal.
I
Yeah.
have to
It was
click that.
fine.
Okay. Oh, but it's the song is from Evan Hansen. It just adds to it. I should have asked that in the beginning. I meant to test that.
It
Okay,
it didn't need anything. The pictures
okay,
were
good.
phenomenal.
Thank you. So I don't know. I just ask you guys for a minute. What is the common thread that you see in my street photography? Let's just start with that for a couple moments.
Candid.
Candid. Some are, some aren't, though, right?
But interesting faces, like just incredibly beautiful, interesting faces.
Mhm. And anybody can capture those,
Texture.
right?
I think, Kayla, I think you zoom in so much more than many of us do. And I think that is an important lesson to zoom and zoom some more and then back off.
Mm-hmm. And if I give you any more confidence to do that, that would be your goal, just to say, you know, what the heck, what's going to happen, right? The worst they'll do is say that's enough or thank you or, you know, but yeah, I think it's important to get the real emotion of the people in the photo if you can.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. And what's happening around them. Like that's where I find just if you're chatting with them and taking photos, then you start to really find out about them. And that's when you can capture their real inner self, right? You know, looking at them with their through their eyes, basically, what is their story? And just snapping away photos, but talking at the same time, like taking a break, taking a couple pictures. Yeah, I think that's what I do. I mean, everybody's different. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other questions before we lead into Jerry?
Hey, look, Brian, again, what started you on this journey of photographing people? I mean, I know that's been part of your
Well,
background.
you know what? How I
with
got into
people.
photography was my dad had a darkroom when I was 15. I wasn't a professional photographer way back then. I just loved taking pictures and I was always the family photographer. And then I started doing a lot of events, like people would just, you know, say, bring your camera. So I would end up doing a lot of birthdays and, you know, stuff like that. And then probably about 11, 12 years ago, when, you know, I could, because my kids were older, I started traveling more. And I realized that it was the things on the street that interested me the most on my travels. So a lot of those pictures, like in Cuba, you saw the guy with his giving a peace sign with dark
Mhm.
glasses. He was the guy that I met in Harlem in New York that said, "What are you, white? What are you doing in the area?" And he took me around and basically watched me. So it just getting to know the people and learning their stories. And I guess
Mhm.
that's the theater background in me. I just find it fascinating to talk to people. So I just started taking my camera with me more often and taking photos.
Mhm.
And I have so many photos of people. I don't know what to do with them, but I have so many. So it's actually quite an honor to be able to share them with you guys, because otherwise they're just sitting in my hard
Yeah,
drives,
yeah. No,
doing nothing for for me. But
But the thing that
I'd actually really like
strikes,
to show you that video. Maybe I'll post it.
you know what strikes me about your photos is how much fun it would be to meet all these different people and hear and learn a bit about their lives.
I think that's a good thing to sort of think about when you go out on the street is I want to meet 10 people today and I want to find out something about them. And I've learned, like, I've worked with so many different kinds of people, backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, all kinds of in my theater life. So I'm not scared to approach, anybody on the street. I'm really not. And that helps. That really does help.
I think
But the more
10
you do it,
yeah, I would start with maybe 3.
yeah. Well, Jerry can tell you. He came out. Jerry and a few other people came with me to the Fringe Festival last year in Winnipeg, and they were getting pretty bold by the end of the couple-hour session. I think it just takes practice, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Cool.
Any advice when you get into rougher neighborhoods where the more interesting pictures would be?
Well, that was what happened with me with that guy in Harlem, where I was sort of out under the subway station. You have to be careful. Like you don't want to you want to kind of figure out things before you go in and you watch them for a bit and see what's happening around them, because the last thing you want to do is go into the middle of a drug bust, right? Or a drug deal, not a bust. Hello, Zoe. So you have to be careful, but I guess just use caution. And again, like I said, the worst thing that'll happen is they'll say no. Right? And that's what I find. I mean, places like Cuba, it's great because they're sitting out on the street and they make for easy photography, specimens or targets or whatever you want to call them. It's a little different when they're huddled in a corner in New York in a street. But if they're sitting out on a bench and they look like they're friendly, decent people, give it a try. Yeah. But it is a step from doing landscape photography, that's for sure.
The last time I traveled in Scotland, I made a point of having an interesting conversation with the person every day, but I didn't photograph them. I just sort of, it was capturing their story, and people were delighted to talk. That when somebody's interested and wants to hear what they're about, they want to tell you. So I assume that's the opening, and then you photograph them, but I didn't photograph them.
Yeah, then you could say, by the way, I'm a photographer, or I do this, I love taking pictures of people. Would you mind? I'd love to getting to know you, and can I take your photo? And they'll say yes. I
expect
sure
they would have, yeah.
Yeah, they probably would have, especially if you'd already gotten to know them. Yeah. Yeah. And just having an eye for it when you're on the street, like watching for interesting things happening. I've always got my eye to the ground, like looking for interesting people.
One of the things that you seem to have a pattern is aged people with lots of lines on their faces.
Yeah, I love character shots. I really, really do. That's probably my favorite thing. But I like kids too. I mean, I like all kinds of ethnic groups and backgrounds. And I was going to say one other thing. A really good place to go out and photograph is things like parades, gay pride parade. I've done almost like a whole bunch of them. I've done the Palm Springs one, the New York one, the Winnipeg one, many times. You can volunteer as a photographer for those. And then everybody at those kinds of things love getting their photos taken. any kind of performance-based thing like the Fringe Festival, there are people that will come up to you and say, "Can you take my picture?" Like those are great places to start because it's a place where they want their photo taken. So like the Winnipeg Fringe Festival, if you're in Winnipeg, or any of the parades, festivals, art festivals, those are super places.
Kayla, I should mention that, and Bob Poole is much more important than me to speak on this issue, but during the summer we had the World Police and Fire Games in Winnipeg, and the Camera Club volunteered a number of people, and that was wonderful because the first thing people wanted to know with the various activities is, where can we see our pictures? And to Bob's credit, he came up with a system of being able to direct the competitors to the links of the photographs. And I think we had, and Bob would correct me on this if I'm wrong, but something like 20,000 images that we'd produced from maybe 14 or 15 people. And so much so that next time the competition is being held, I think it's down in the States somewhere, they've asked us to chip in on what we did and help to make it a success.
Cool. Yeah.
Well done, Bob. Where is he?
Anything like that, like Folklorama, any kind of event like that where you're invited to take photos of, it's a great place for that.
Actually, Brian, that guy's coming to be a speaker for us in March.
Oh, interesting. Okay, good. Yeah. Where's he from? Is it Gene? Yeah.
Yeah, he's south of the states someplace, Carolinas, Wisconsin, something like that.
He lives in Virginia.
In where?
Virginia.
Virginia, yeah, that's what I said. Southeast.
Okay, I'm going to turn the
Bob.
screen over to Jerry. Jerry, are you ready? Jerry's going to give us a little lesson or a little editing demonstration of one of his street images he took when he came with me to the Fringe Festival. This fellow. Take it away, Jerry. Jerry, you're muted, I think.
Can you see the image?
Yes.
And I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, a few things before I start. I only have about 15 minutes and editing takes a lot longer than that. So no questions until I'm done. Also, as Kayla was saying, photos just don't happen. It all comes down to this decisive moment when something is happening and you've got your photo. So if you start off with something like this is a good example. And I was with a small group with Kayla, and there was like about 4 of us. And we saw this gentleman just sitting there on this concrete thing. And so this is downtown Winnipeg, the Fringe Festival. So anyway, he was just sitting there and there's nothing happening here. Okay, so then we walked up to him. So look at his expression start to change. So now there's 4 people standing in front of him and I'm like 56 meters away. And Kayla starts talking to him. And she does all her, how are you, all this kind of stuff, and trying to get his ease and his confidence and everything, make him feel good. And then we go to the next photo. Now he's looking at her because what happened here, he's not quite sure what's going on. And you go to this one, and you go to this one. And what happened was he had a knapsack and he had his little music box here. And over here, he had a hat, had this really flamboyant hat that was just sitting there. So Kayla asked him nicely, would you please put the hat on? We'd like to get a picture of you in your hat because I think it's a really nice hat. So this is him looking at her and us saying, I don't know if I want to do this. So then he actually agreed to do it. Okay, and here's the next photo. There's the photo hit with him with the hat on. Now, this is actually the one. This is the one I like. This is the one I'm going to edit. So anyway, what's going on here is when he picked up the hat and put it on his head, the hat was actually covering a can of beer. So we all looked at the can of beer and we all started smiling. So that he's looking at us and he's smiling back. And that's when we got this photo. And that's what it's all about. It's all about making that connection. Okay, now the edit. I'm in Lightroom. You want to get rid of all this stuff up here that's distracting, so crop it nice and tight. And then usually you go down here and you tone down the highlights, bring up the shadows, stuff like that. And then I'm going to go into local adjustments, get a brush, exposure.
Bring out his eyes.
Yeah.
He was so excited when we discovered his beer. He was hiding his beer under his hat. He was so excited. He's like, "Don't tell anybody." He said it was our secret.
Another brush. Another brush.
Lighten the
Darken.
eyes.
Darken.
Darken around, yeah.
Another brush.
You know, so some of the purists of street photography wouldn't do this, but I'm like, why not? You're just editing what you saw, bringing it out.
Saturation, reduce the saturation in the eyes. Okay. That's it. Okay. Noticing I'm doing a lot of local adjustments instead of overall stuff. So I inverted the mask.
Too much.
Effects. And I want to tone down what's going on in the background, bring down the texture, bring down the clarity. That's like softening. That's like getting it's already, because I shot at f4, so it's already good separation, but this is even better. And you say, okay, done. And that's it for Lightroom. So now, edit in Photoshop. Can you see the image?
Yeah, now it's there.
Okay, good. Okay, don't get confused by that. That's just the TK panel. And all this does is automate Photoshop to make it a lot quicker and easier to use. So let's see. Okay, so a couple things you can do. I don't like this. Remove tool. It's kind of slow.
Not bad.
If it doesn't work the first time, do it again. Okay, that's good enough. I'm going to darken that anyway. Now the clone stamp.
I should mention that Jerry uses a tablet. That's why his cloning is so quick. And the only thing with cloning is you have to make sure you don't have the repeated patterns. And remember, this is just a quick edit that he's doing for us. I call him the king of cloning. His like cloning skills are amazing because he did restoration photos. That was his career.
Okay, now.
Jerry, what camera did you use for this?
Pardon? What?
You're a Canon, right?
Oh yeah, this was the Canon. Did I have the R5 then? I'm not sure if I had the R5, but it was a Canon. I have the mirrorless, the R5 now, the mirrorless Canon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now it's just a matter of, a couple other things. There's a person there, so I want to obscure the person.
There was one photo with the person looking at him, and that would be, I would keep a person in the background that if their focus was on my subject.
Yeah.
In that case, but that one wasn't looking at him, so it's like useless. If it's not adding anything to the photo, get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it all comes down to certain things complement the main subject and are worth keeping. Other things, distractions are always beneficial to get rid of.
Yeah. Now the real thing, but none of us got it. The real thing that would have told the story of this guy was when he first revealed the beer in the hat. But we were so into what he was telling us, we didn't get that photo. That would have been like, that would have been the money shot.
Yeah, we missed that. We were all looking at the hat. Okay, so I mean, now a couple other things you can do here. You can do what they call, come on, okay, freehand vignette. Oh, I have to do this first. Lasso. Freehand vignette. Now you probably can't see it, but he's brighter and everything else is a bit like a Gaussian blur. And then if I go vignette, here's a normal vignette, which just does the edges. I don't know if you can see, there's a slight difference. So I want to darken this. I want to darken this down at these corners. The other thing I'd like to do is to go into Nick 6 color effects. This is the Nick collection of plugins for Photoshop.
And while he's uploading that, this program was only, it's actually free. No, TK9 was about $33 or something, right?
Yeah, 33 bucks. Okay, this one right here called Pro Contrast. This is absolutely wonderful. I use this in all my photos. So you go here, dynamic contrast and contrast. And then this is just protecting the shadows and the highlights and clipping. Then you can check if there's a color cast, you can reduce the color cast. And then you can actually go in and adjust each of these colors. So his face is orange, but it shouldn't be orange. That's what it should be. I don't want all that blue back there, so I just bring down the blue. Okay, and if you want the greens, if you want to, because it's all about him and not what's going on everywhere else. And then I say, okay, and then I can go to another one is Glamour Glow. And this is for portraits, but it gives a nice glow and softening effect to everything. But what I can do is I can restrict it. I say, don't do it there, don't do it there, don't do it there, don't do it there, don't do it there. But it'll do it everywhere else. And I say, okay. So now back into Photoshop. Got to wait for this to kick in. It's got to save it. Okay. So now I go to subject. This curves. Soft pop. Oh, wait a minute. We get out of that. Okay. Let's do soft pop. Go here. Soft pop. So that's boosting colors, contrast, and a whole bunch of stuff, and doing a softening, like a glow. It's doing everything just with one click. Here's before, here's after. If I want some more vignette, click the vignette.
So to me, what you did was you took a character that maybe wasn't as approachable and you made him very approachable, much softer, kind, warm, like look at his face.
Yeah.
You know? Beautiful.
And I haven't even sharpened. Yeah, and I haven't even sharpened it yet. That's the last thing. I go down to Topaz, Photo AI.
Mhm.
I'm
You have to
waiting
be
for it to come
careful.
up.
Don't sharpen his face too much. Yeah.
No, I'm just waiting for it to come up.
Nice.
Yeah.
The before and after. Oh, the sharpening.
Yeah, so it's doing its thing. It's checking
Oh,
to
no,
see what
no.
needs to
You
be.
do not use ketchup on your crooked dog.
What is it?
Somebody's
Okay.
microphone is on.
You know how
Okay,
you slice.
there's the before and after. It's very, very subtle.
Yeah,
So I
not
just
all
said-
the way through, right? Okay.
So it's just saving it. Okay.
What are you eating?
Kayla, you can mute that person's microphone.
I know, I'm looking. I know.
So
It's
the
on-
only other, the only other thing that I would do, I mean, you could play around with this forever, but what I like to do is with the clone stamp is clone stuff like this out so that there's more green in there, stuff like this,
In the middle.
so that he stands. So he stands out from the background, is to sort of take this kind of stuff out, this kind of stuff, and a little bit of, you know, this and whatever, so that you get a nicer image. And oh, that's interesting. It's frozen. Anyway, I think I'm done anyway. I was just going to do a quick and dirty edit.
Mhm. Yeah, I think we
Okay.
get the gist of it, and
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, what you want to do is you want to emphasize your main subject, and you want to de-emphasize everything else.
Hmm.
And especially in street scenes like this, if you can, so if you're shooting at 2.8 or 4 or something like that, that's a good way to go, because you'll get a nice smooth background, and you can smooth it out even more if you want. Anyway, I'll stop the share.
Hi, Jerry, it's Brian. I really do like that last crop, because I'm thinking about the old adage, as your eyes are always drawn to the brightest spot in an image. And it was sort of troubling me before that the upper right-hand corner was quite bright of that building. And I know you said you could go on and on with this, and you probably would. Yeah, I like that from the crop.
In another version of this edit, I actually removed the entire top, all those buildings. I continued the vegetation. I continued the trees all the way across.
Yeah,
So that because you're absolutely right. You don't want anything really bright in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, Jerry. That's good.
Yeah. Thank you, Jerry. That was a nice
Really
addition
good.
to this. Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
Does anybody have any questions for Jerry about the editing or the TK9 program? I've started using it and I love it. It's just a bit of a learning curve.
How many systems was he using?
In TK9?
No, to do that picture today.
Lightroom, Photoshop, and the Nick collection.
Yeah.
And
TK9
everything
is
else.
a plugin in Photoshop.
Yeah, all that stuff I was doing in TK9, that's actually Photoshop. TK9 is just an interface to make it a lot easier and quicker to use Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Is there a fee, Jerry, for TK9?
$33. And you can get 15% off DK15 for the promo code, and you'll get 15% off. If you have Photoshop, it's worth every penny of it.
And the $33 comes with videos on how to use it too. And the fellow that runs it has a TK9 Friday, and he does a demo every Friday with it.
Yeah,
Black Friday.
Dave Kelly. He's got a site, YouTube. His site is called The Joy of Editing, and he has TK Friday. Every Friday he will do a complete edit, and he will take you through it step by step of what he's doing.
Is that $33 renewable every year, or do you buy the access?
you buy it. You get
You
it
buy
for
it.
33. You buy it, and he usually comes out with an update every year or so. But it's not that you get a discount if you already have the program.
Right.
But
Okay.
that's the cheapest. That's the cheapest piece of useful programming you're going to get.
Mhm. Cool. Thank you, Jerry.
Okay.
Thanks, Terry.
All right.
That picture behind me, by the way, was taken at the Fringe Festival also.
Yeah.
And there was and Kayla again took our little group right up to these people, and there was 3 of them. There was 3 girls, and Kayla started talking to them,
Mhm.
and she got their confidence, and then they were happy and everything, and we started shooting away. And I waited. For me, the photo wasn't the 3 people. It was just these 2 girls. I guess they're sisters, and you can't see the rest of their hair, but they have these really, really big afros. And for me,
Yeah.
that was the photo. And Kayla kept talking to them, and I just waited and I waited and I waited, and then they touched heads. They got in really tight. I think she told them to get in tight, and then that was my shot.
Yeah. And there was, I think, a mother with them that I
The
asked
mother,
if it was
yeah,
okay. Yeah.
that's another thing. If you're shooting pictures of children, especially if it's a man shooting pictures of children, make
Mhm.
sure that there's a parent or somebody there that you can get the permission, which we did.
Yeah. Yeah. Really important, I think. Mhm. Cool. All right. So for the next little section, did anybody bring a photo that we can look at? Okay. Bob, you're first. So you can share screen and put your photo up on the screen, and then we're going to look at it. And I'd love comments from everybody on it, just from me. So things that you take away from the photo, the story in the photo mainly. That's what we're looking for. It's that moment, like when you go to a play and you know that one moment that gives you that emotional impact. That's what we're looking for. It makes you feel something.
Okay, do you want me to share mine?
Yes, please.
All righty. See that?
There we are. Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay.
So this is out in Parksville along the beach there, and this poor fella looked like he'd had a hard day, and the little dog's trying to cheer him up there. But
Okay, don't tell us, Bob. Let us tell you.
oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, let us tell you. So anybody, a reaction to this? What do you see? And what makes the photo?
The dog.
What about the dog?
How can you not love that dog? I mean, he's
Yeah.
just
Well, first of all, it's unusual. The positioning of the dog, it's not on the ground.
No.
So it makes it unusual just by that alone.
And he's looking at you, or she.
Yes. Yes.
You know what else I love about the dog's position? You probably don't even think about this, but I think about this in the theater. His upstage foot, or his leg that is further away from you, is the one that is or the downstage one is open. So he looks open to you rather than the other foot would be crossed over. So it's more inviting in the photo. I always look at that when I'm taking photos of people as well.
the background. There's a story there too. You have the ocean, the mountains, the color, the blue. There's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
That pink leash. There's something about that.
Yep. He looks tired for sure. I like that lone shoe there. Is that a shoe under the bench?
I think that's just a rock.
I think it's a rock.
That's a rock, yeah. Mhm. It's nice. The energy from the dog and this tired guy who probably went for a long walk and he's exhausted, and you caught it.
That's what I was thinking when I took the picture.
Mhm.
I thought, this poor fellow over there, he was just he looked like he'd had the longest day, but he had to take his dog for a walk. And
Mhm.
And he's like,
I like
oh,
the
I should have put better
composition
shoes
too.
on.
Mhm. I like the composition. I like the way it looks like you burned the dog, the white and the black a little bit. Did some
actually,
dodging and burning.
it's poorly edited. That's before I developed any Lightroom skills.
Well, it's pretty good though. I like it.
I got that one in 2016, I think, right after I joined the camera club. So,
So you didn't actually talk to this guy, did you? You just took a.
oh, I
quick
didn't
candid-
talk to him. No.
You didn't. No.
I didn't think he was going to be too open to talking. Actually.
No, you would have probably had to sit down beside him and strike up a conversation, and then, I've been known to do that. Just go and sit down beside him. Just say, "Mind if I sit down for a minute?" Good
Yeah.
way to start a conversation. Yeah.
So I got one more if you want to see it.
Sure.
All right. Give me a second here. I'll close that one. Did I close the whole screen share? Okay.
Yep, you did.
All right. Well, let's go back here. And I gotta find it. So just give me a second.
So if there's anybody else that has a photo, open it up now in the background on your screen so that you're ready to share. Jen, you can go next.
Okay.
I saw your hand up.
Oh,
You want us to come back to you?
sure. I'll find it.
Okay, we'll come back to you so you're not frantically looking for it.
Okay,
Okay, so unshare and then we'll get Jennifer up.
I can just show you on my background here. It's pretty easy because I don't
I
have.
can come back to you. We'll see how many other people want to share.
Okay, sure. I'll find it.
Oh, beautiful, Jen.
Thanks.
Okay, so anybody comment on that? The moment, what did she capture here?
Affection. Mom and son, or mom and daughter.
Mm-hmm. She's looking at her hands. Something about her.
I was going to say she's got a nice manicure. It takes over.
Probably, yeah.
I'll let her know you said that.
Yeah.
Sitting in front of a bonfire.
Do you know these people, Jen, or was it a?
I do. Yeah, I do. But she didn't know I was taking the picture at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
The eyes are closed though. Yeah, you have to wonder. But she's smiling, so it's not like they're at a memorial service or something where.
I just think it's.
Well, they're closed because
open.
they're looking down at her hands.
Yeah, they're open eyes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Something about her hands. Did she get a manicure too, or did she want a manicure?
Well, if you notice, and without trying to
There's
give, because I know part of the image is missing, but if you look at the child's hands, they're lit up. So if you think about
fire,
how they're dressed and what could they possibly be doing?
I can't see the hands.
Standing by a fire, warming their.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful in mood and emotion, even with the eyes closed. And obviously, I think it's a fire. Just the point that I mentioned before about the bright spot top right.
Yeah, I didn't edit that out.
And also the half person on the right hand side to do something about that.
Yeah, like he or she is not adding to the photo, so that would be something that I would probably crop out. Yeah, or else use that remove tool so you don't lose the width.
Or perhaps again crop in.
Or you can crop it a lot wider too.
Yeah.
What does that tool cost? The way you open it up, open up the photo now, that's also really good. The crop tool where you can make it larger. What's it called?
Generative expand.
Thank you. That is really, really good.
Oh, I haven't tried that.
It's really good.
Can I show you one more?
Yep, sure.
Okay. Oops, sorry, stop share. And then
who else has one? Just show me it by hand. Anybody else? Okay, Kevin and Lloyd, in that order.
Sorry,
we'll come back to you, Bob, if you found yours as well. Let's do Kevin, Lloyd, then Bob. And we have time. I want to stop at 7:45 or 8:45. I'm actually away, so my clock is 2 hours behind.
Okay, there we go. There's the other one.
Oh yeah, the parade.
Where's Santa?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Crop.
So I was looking at that. Like what I love that guy on the right who's looking at them, because then the focus goes right to them. But there's a lot of stuff on the left. I would probably crop it behind the girl in the light blue, and maybe crop it down tighter on the top as well, because you want that the two kids are the main focus there, and they're bright colors. The background, the people in the background don't bother me in this one though. So I'm two sides to it. But
Yeah, I mean, I could see cropping it kind of here behind this lady in the dark coat.
yeah, like you don't need a lot of that other stuff, but you still want to know that they're waiting for a parade. You don't want to get rid of that. So,
and maybe even toning down the highlights in the back.
But I love the anticipation on the kids' faces. Like you got a moment there, perfect. Like where is that? Where's that now? Where's whoever it is in the parade?
Go. Yeah. Thank you.
Very cool. Thank you. Good. Okay, who did I say? Kevin and Lloyd, whoever wants to go. Go first, Kevin. Go ahead.
Mine's
I think
kind
Megan also had her hand up, right?
I'm just gonna show one.
Okay.
Yeah,
one is good.
I'm not sure. Can you see the picture?
Yes. Oh, that's funny.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is actually a bit of a cheat because this was a steampunk event in Winnipeg called the Plague Doctor's Picnic. And these people wanted their picture taken.
Right.
And they went out of their way to be costumed up as plague doctors. It was during COVID, right when we had a break in COVID. So it was very much the theme, the Plague Doctor's Picnic, except for steampunk, which was a really big.
Well, I love steampunk. Yeah,
steampunk's a lot of fun. But yeah, I like this picture because you're kind of forced to reverse yourself rather than being attracted to the highlights. You're drawn to the detail of the dark and the different textures. So that was my attempt at contrast and having people look at the masks instead of the background. But I know that the adage is always you're drawn to the though, but.
And I would still call it street photography because it's not performance. Like they weren't there performing; they were there in costumes, and you caught them in costumes at an event. So it totally could be a street. And the fact that they posed for you could still make it street. They don't have to be all candid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it works well in black and white.
Yeah, interesting people at a park. Yeah, I like it in black and white too. Well, good. Thank you. All right, Lloyd, you're up.
You have to walk me through sharing the screen and finding the picture.
Oh, so find the picture first and have it in the background.
Like it's in the background now.
Okay, so go to share screen at the bottom of your Zoom thing.
But it's aiming the wrong direction. It's some strange. Okay, yeah, here we go. Now it should be on my desktop.
Yeah, let's see.
Where's my desktop? Could be somewhere.
If you had it open already in the background, it should just come up.
You mean like just open up on the
open share screen and it should be there. If not, you can come out and try it again.
Okay, hang on. So
give
I'm
it a shot.
Background of Zoom.
Okay, I'm gonna just go to let's find that picture. Desktop. It should be this one, I think. Oh, there it is. Okay, so now I have it open. Oh wait, can you see it?
Did you push share screen?
I'll push it again. Okay, and there it is. This was an example.
It didn't take share screen.
Pardon? Okay, what do I have to do?
There's a green button at the bottom if you're on a computer.
Yeah, I'll click it again.
It's not taking the screen for some reason.
You have to choose. Are you getting a dialog box that has a bunch of things on it after you hit share screen? So then you got to choose the one you want to share now.
Okay, so I'm going to screen. Okay, I got one I've shared. And then, share. Okay.
Yeah,
there now we can see it. That's it.
Okay.
There we are.
So
nice.
This is an example where I literally, this is a Sony 3.2 megapixel camera. And I just went click. I didn't even think about the shot.
Wow.
I still like it. That's what I don't.
I love the way the shadows are lined up.
Yeah.
They kind of look like demons. It's kind of ironic.
It is. I love that.
Where is that, Lloyd? Where did you grab that?
That's in Italy, in one of the monasteries.
Uh-huh.
I would have loved to met those three priests. I really would have liked to sit down and have a pint with them and just see where, they looked really like interesting people.
And they probably would have. They probably would have loved it.
Again,
what's the red box?
I would crop it in as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
I didn't do that. I don't know who did that, but
Yeah,
I would And I would keep the shadow. Who did that crop there?
Yeah.
Dr.
done
Crop.
You can use
I just don't want
That's Dawn.
I don't want to lose her. I don't want to lose her shadows. I think the shadows are
Yeah,
part
no,
of
it's not a great crop. I would keep the shadows in and just
Yeah.
yeah, just bring it down a bit. Lose a bit of the corner, especially that little thingy in the top right corner that pulls your eye. But you
Oh,
get
yeah.
the idea. And then bring the contrast up a lot on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very, very nice. You got all those diagonal lines. Then you have three people. And if you look closely, you can see the beads and a cross. So it tells you exactly what they are, who they are.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say crop, but definitely keep the shadows and just back off. If you go too much, just back off. But
yeah,
that's the lines, as Jerry said, are very
cool.
With those 3.2 megapixels.
Wow.
And I love the way his cross is sort of hanging in the middle there.
Yeah, and that was just literally click. Didn't put any thought into it. But anyways, thank you for your feedback.
I don't know if you remember in the slideshow, I have a picture of three or four guys, that monks as well, and one of them is on a pink cell phone.
Oh,
did you catch that? That was a find.
That'd be a cool. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, okay. I don't remember.
I'm gonna post that video again at the end if anybody wants to stay and watch it with the music, because I think I screwed up. I wish the music really does the music helps always.
Do I have to do
anyway
unshare or something, or does someone do that for me?
You can unshare.
How do I do that?
Top of the screen.
There's a little button on the top that should say unshare.
The red
one. I can probably.
If you do
stop sharing.
I can stop it too.
I see. Okay.
There, I stopped it for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Bob, do you have that other one ready?
Nope,
to show us?
I got Megan's got one there. She's had her hand
and we've
up.
got Megan's. Let's go, Megan.
Hi.
Anybody else? Show me your hand. Hi, Megan.
Hi.
Deep
Megan,
water.
where are you from?
I'm from Ottawa.
Cool.
Yeah,
welcome.
Thank you. I'm kind of sharing just for the sake of sharing. Let's see.
You have a nice street photo in the background too.
Yeah, that's the one
that.
I'm trying to show. Oh no, I've never done this before. And
we're all very patient when it comes to Zoom tech. So where you have the picture open in the background. And then there should be, are you on a computer?
Yeah, I'm on my MacBook.
So at the bottom, it'll say share screen.
Yeah, I clicked on that and then it gives me a whole bunch of options.
Yeah, so you want to click on the one where you see your image or the window.
Like it's showing me like desktop, whiteboard, but it's giving me a caution sign. Maybe
it should be on your desktop if you have it open in the background.
Yeah.
Try it and see what happens.
It's bringing me into like system preferences.
No, you don't want that. And you have the picture open in your background?
But
behind
anyway,
us?
well, yeah, so the photo that's in my background is the photo.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Look at that. Like a duck.
Kayla,
Yeah.
Spotlight, right click on her picture and spotlight her.
Okay, I'll do that. Spotlight. There we go. There you go. Oh, look at that. Oh, and there's another guy in the picture.
Fourth picture.
I love that. That was candid. They didn't know you were taking their photo.
Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like I'm cheating in a way because those are my children. But yeah, it was just me and them. We were traveling in Montreal, and I think I had them walking for a really long time in downtown Montreal. And then I think I was lost. And I was like, okay, we're gonna take a break. And they were just sitting there and I was on my phone trying to figure out what to do. And then I just saw them like that and I had to take a photo and yeah.
So you've got a beautiful moment of them sitting still, which doesn't happen.
Pretty good.
Crop eliminate the right half of the picture where the black is. You can
or at least some of it. Yeah, I agree.
50%, just take the left-hand half of the image, and I think that's kids looking out onto the street. And
did you say this was in the show in the salon?
This was just downtown Montreal.
Oh, I thought you meant it was in the show at PPOC or something. Yeah, yeah.
No,
And
no.
I would also get rid of those little square things on the wall. The little easy to get rid of, whatever those
Yeah.
signs are.
They're an easy edit. I guess my struggle is how much from a documentary perspective. Like, so I shoot my kids with a documentary approach, but I'm not opposed to removing things.
Yeah, that's why I said some people in street photography are real purists. They wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
But I'm of a mind, if it's gonna enhance the moment that you were capturing, why not? Like, you're not gonna go in and try to move all those cars because that would be too big a job.
No, no, no.
But
And they're really part of the story.
and it's really part of the story, and it's good for the leading line there. But those other things that are distracting your eye, nobody's gonna really care that you got rid of that. It's not like you're getting rid of something that was special for that building. Right.
But as a parent and as a mum, you want the children, and I think all of that black on the right side at the half can be eliminated, and that's your picture. Lovely.
Lovely. Yep. Thank
Your
you.
comment, Brian. I think that the boy in the middle, I think that adds to it. He's looking further off to the right.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, Bob. I saw that. Yeah.
He's looking.
I love him.
And and it kind of makes you wonder what's over there.
Yeah.
The boy on the left, he's looking more forward, and so he doesn't have as much to look into. So I don't like the fact that he's looking into the dark area.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many.
30 years, these kids are going to cherish this picture. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cherish.
And the only other thing I would say is bring the highlights maybe down a little bit. They're a little white, but that could just be because it's an image that you put on your backdrop, right?
Yeah.
Contrast.
Interesting. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. It's really nice.
Thank you.
All right. Who else had an image? Anybody else?
You unspotlight her, you'll see that D, I think, has one.
I did. I unspotlighted her. Who?
Me.
Yeah. Oh, good. D, go ahead.
Okay.
All right.
Where are you from?
Toronto.
Toronto. I recognize you.
Hopefully my share screen. Oh yeah, I see what you mean with the yeah. Okay. Yeah, you get a bunch of options when you hit share screen.
Yeah.
None of which are your photos. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we actually see a bunch of people.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight one of these. Hopefully. Come on.
Or just make it full screen, D.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that.
I said just make it full screen. Just hit Control F, I think it is. Or
yeah, just F. Yep. F.
And F, Control F.
Yeah, I'm trying that.
Or close the other ones and just open that one in the background and then open reshare.
Ah, here we go. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Oh, look. Yes.
So, believe it or not, this was taken on the street. It was in Vietnam, but on the street.
Wow.
I love the light.
Yeah.
Great capture. I wonder if he's in the aisleway or in a, like, yeah, it makes me think, where is he?
Go upstairs.
Brilliant picture. I'm wondering if I took the footage out, if that would focus more on the kid.
Which, the green on the right or the above him?
Both, all of it, and then.
I don't know, or darken it a bit maybe, because I don't mind it. It frames him nicely too.
Thank you. That was the intention.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the leaves that are right above his head.
Yeah.
Because of my zoom bar. But it also frames the top of his head with the ones on the right.
Right.
And he's yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say again, it's different than portrait because this is a choice you've made in this story to have him framed like that. So I probably would say don't touch it. That was your intention to tell that story with a little bit of foliage around him, giving us sort of a sense of place, right? So I like it. If it was for a portrait thing or something, it would be different. But street, you want more of that ambiance.
Thank you.
Again, I love the light. I love the way did you do much editing in the light, or was that the way it was?
No, I mean, of course, I pulled up where the light was. Naturally, there's a bit of dodge and burn there, but that is precisely where the light was hitting him, which is why I absolutely had to take this photo as I was walking by. It was a rainy day actually, and the light was just backlighting him, side lighting him there. This is in front of his house actually, and he had just run away to cry into the void, that dark void there beside his house, because he just had a yelling match with his mother, and his mother had stormed off into the house, and he wandered off this way and was having his private moment. I just happened to be out in the street. He had no idea I was there. I was only walking by. I had just grabbed another lens to do a different shoot, and I was walking by with my camera. I just put on the lens that I'd gone to fetch, and I heard the kerfuffle, the boy and his mother having this argument, and he just placed himself right there and began to tear up, and I just took that one single shot and kept moving, because I saw the light on his face and I saw this private moment, and I thought, how can you not capture this? I mean, it was just so beautiful.
A really lucky moment that you caught, and you got the whole story behind it, which is even better, right?
I feel that it was a very precious moment, for me, certainly for him and for me.
It is a great shot. It is a great shot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
I think you've captured
I'll show you a funny one.
Nancy's.
Can I show you a funny one?
Yeah, sure.
Just real quick. You can, here. Just because I've got that
funny. That's good. That's great. So these are easier kind of street photos because you're just out with your camera and they don't know you're taking their photo.
Yeah.
Anybody should be able to do these discreetly. Like make it. You can pretend like you're taking a shot somewhere else, and boom, you got it.
Yeah.
Is that like in downtown of Toronto?
No, that's Times Square.
Oh, I was going to say, is it New York? But then I thought, maybe not. But yeah,
that was Times
New York
Square.
Is the best place for stuff like this.
Yeah, I just catching this guy. I called the photo. I mean, to me, I called it "check this guy out."
Yeah.
But it's and you could say that about either of them, right?
Yeah. Well, there's so many characters in New York. That's why it's so much fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move on to Nancy. Nancy, do you have an image?
I do. It's actually an image.
We have time for a couple more. I have to wind this up at about 10:02.
It's actually an image that I took several years ago, but it's just a timely image, and it's not a street, but it's the concept of street photography.
Oh yes, I love this image. I saw you had posted this the other day on Facebook.
Yeah,
for Remembrance
Day.
It's
one that comes back every Remembrance Day. It's just it was a day I was out at Brookside Cemetery just shooting the somber day on November 11th, and this woman was parked at this gravesite. I think she was there for at least 45 minutes, and you could it was palpable. And I named this photo Palpable Pain. And I just thought that's like, I don't do a lot of street type of stuff, but that it does, I think, fall into the category today. So
I think so too. Yeah, it's beautiful. Anybody want to comment?
Yeah, it's a beautiful.
I mean, it has so much. The leading line, the color, your eye goes directly to her. The way it's unfocused in the front, and then the focus gets sharper as you go to her. You know exactly where she is. You know the story there.
Yeah, nice to keep the black and white background with the color of the image. Makes it pop even more and even more important and
cool. Very nice.
Obvious as to the mood of the occasion. Yeah, nice one, Nancy.
Cool. Thank you. Anybody else? Did I miss anybody? Okay. Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
It's gonna talk.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say thank you so much, Kayla. That was fantastic. And Jerry for the editing. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
So I would really like to, because I'm pissed off at myself, excuse my language, I would really like to play you out with the video. You don't have to stay. You're welcome to leave with the sound just because it's one of my favorite songs. But why is my sound on? Do I have to actually leave and come back in? Who knows
No,
about
when
that?
you share your video, there's
Yeah.
the
Oh,
box
that
comes up.
button. That
There's
button.
a little thing that you click that says share sound or something like that.
Okay. Okay. All right, and I don't, I don't want to ask you to stay, but you're welcome to stay and watch with the music. Now that we've talked through a bunch of stuff, I hope you'll look at the images again with a different eye as to what I was trying to get in the moment with all those photos. Like, look for the one of the monks with the one guy on the pink phone. Look for the guy in New York that was giving me the peace thing, that was my guardian angel in Harlem. Look for there's a fellow that I took a picture of in New York that was like, he's kind of a derelict guy sitting. He looks like he's got some illness or some autism or something. But then I got home and I looked at the picture and he had stained himself. Like, you know, you look closer at the detail in photos afterwards and oh my God, what did I catch? And you just never know when you're on the street until you get back into the editing room and you see, oh my God. So I'd like to play it out. Yeah, thank you. So I hope that you'll all go out in the next little while and just be brave. Feel free to send me a photo. I'd love to see them, and maybe we can post them in the Camera Club or PPOC, just some images that you took on the street, with or without editing, just to capture different stories out there. So thank you.
Hi, Kayla, it's Brian, and Big Mouth, if you like. I would like to, if it doesn't take too much time, just to hear the comments of people from outside of Manitoba. I'm fed up looking and listening to the people of Manitoba, so maybe I'd like to hear some comments from them on this evening, and I just hope we can do it again. I think it's been a very enjoyable night, and thanks to Kayla and those who have organized it. So if anyone wants to comment outside of Manitoba.
Well, we can probably keep the room open after, Jamie, if you want to.
Okay.
After the video, for those that want to stay. I unfortunately have another appointment, so I have to take off after that.
Yeah, I can keep it open for a little bit.
Yeah, that would be great. And thank you to PPOC for letting me invite my Camera Club folks. I always like to include them when we can. And yeah, it's great to have people from all across the country. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was great. Yay.
Thank you,
Okay,
Kayla.
so I'm going to share the screen and play out
Thank
the
you so
video
much.
one more time. The song is from a musical called Evan Hansen. If you haven't heard of it, you can now watch it, I think, on Netflix. It's a fabulous, just the song resonated to me, all about people and just listening to people. Of course, the theme in the play is very much different than just that, but yeah, watch it if you get a chance. So I'm going to share screen. I'm going to share sound. There it is. Thank you, Jen. And here we go. Oh, why is it Zoom? Can you see it?
Got it.
Tell me if you can hear it. You can hear it?
No.
No?
No sound.
No
No
sound.
sound.
Can
Okay,
you
I
hear
clicked
it?
that little thing.
Can you hear it?
I can hear it. That's weird.
We've experienced that before, Kayla, through Manitoba Camera Club, when there's a video with sound, it doesn't always come through very well anyways.
Jerry,
So
do
I
you
don't
know?
whether or not
Hi,
it's
Jerry.
you or
Brian.
whether it's
Do you know
Zoom.
if there's a special setting on there? I think you mentioned that to me one time, and it's so disappointing when you put some beautiful music to a slideshow.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was a little
So much
disappointed.
part of it, and I think Jerry had a comment about that. Hello, Jerry. Are you awake?
Hello. No, other than when you click show video, you have to click show, with sound.
But I just did that. I want to try one more time just because.
That should work.
I want to try one more time just because. So I clicked on share. I wonder if it has to do with earbuds.
Yes, it does.
That's
if
what
you're wearing earbuds, it won't work.
That's what it is. I took them off. Okay. I just remembered that from another demonstration that I did. Okay. Let's try this again. We go back to the beginning of it and tell me now if you can hear it.
Did you hit the share sound button?
I did. Do one more time.
It's coming through a little bit.
Oh, it is. Then it's coming through. You just don't.
Just
not great.
Everybody else mute yourself so there's no background noise. It might help. Seriously.
Enter your password to allow this.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there?
Yes or no?
Have you ever felt
It's working.
Great, thank
Yes,
you.
we can.
Okay, I'm gonna say goodnight and
Yes.
enjoy.
Have you ever felt
Good night.
like you could disappear? Like you could fall, and no one would hear. Well, let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found. Be found. You will be found.
Have you seen this? Someone put a video of your speech online.
My speech?
People started sharing it, I guess. And now, I mean, Connor is
Your speech is
everywhere.
This morning, the Connor Project page, it only had 56 people following. Well, how many does it have now?
16,239.
Don't understand that. What happened?
You did. There's a place where we don't have to feel alone. Oh my God, everybody needs to see this. Every time you call, you're a little I can't stop watching this video.
If you only say the word. Take 5 minutes.
Silence, your voice is heard. Share it with the people you love. Repost.
The world needs to hear this.
A beautiful tree.
Favorite, I know someone who really needed to hear this today. So thank you, Evan Hansen, for doing what you're doing. I never met you, Connor, but coming on here, reading everyone's posts, it's so easy to feel alone. But Evan is exactly right. We're not alone. None of us. None of us. None of us. None of us are alone.
Like,
Especially now. Everything you hear is so
like, share it. Thank you, Evan Hansen, for giving us a space to remember Connor. Each other. Share it.
because you get Vermont, Sacramento.
Thank you.
Repost. Thank you, Evan. Did you see the thing, right?
Thank you. when you need someone to carry you. When you're broken. You will be found